Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News and your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, September 17th, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with news on Logan Paul and Roman Reigns. Reigns, the WWE Universal Champion, will defend his title against Paul at WWE's next Crown Jewel Saudi Arabia Premium Live event on November 5th. The match has not yet officially been announced by WWE, but Logan Paul made a special appearance in the opening promo segment of Smackdown last night, live from the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, and declared he'd be holding a press conference today in Las Vegas and dared Reigns to be there. The presser is scheduled for 3:30 p.m. local time at the Doghouse Saloon and Sportsbook at Resorts World Las Vegas. Related, tonight is the third fight in the boxing trilogy between Canelo Alvarez and Jeanetti Golovkin, and it is expected that Triple H, amongst others, will be in attendance. Although Reigns did not appear on SmackDown last night, Paul was confronted during the segment by the rest of the Bloodline faction and had words with Reigns' representative, Paul Heyman.
Come on, Paul, you're a promoter. You get this, you know how this works, and I know you know how great this could be. By the way, it's just a press conference. It's just a press conference. What are you guys so afraid of? Because I see a lot of Samoans and one Sami Zayn and one Paul, and I can't understand why you're so afraid. Are you afraid that at the press conference that I might challenge Roman Reigns?
Things got physical to close out the segment, with Logan Paul laying out the Bloodline's Sami Zayn as part of the angle. This week's Wrestling Observer newsletter confirmed that Reigns had not been advertised for the October 8th Extreme Rules event in Philadelphia, and that his next planned title defense was to be at Crown Jewel. A storyline rivalry has been built up by WWE in recent days, stemming from an appearance the champion made on Paul's YouTube show Impulsive last Tuesday, in which Paul appeared to issue an unofficial challenge to Reigns after Reigns left the studio at the conclusion of the interview. This would be Paul's third match with WWE and his second since signing a part-time contract with the company in July. The main event of SmackDown saw the Brawling Brutes team of Ridge Holland and Butch win a four-way tag team match against Imperium, New Day, and Hit Row's Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis to become the number one contender to the undisputed WWE Tag Team title, currently held by Jimmy and Jey Uso. Holland and Butch will challenge the Usos for the title next week on SmackDown. In other results from the show, the Bloodline Solo Sikoa defeated Madcap Moss to retain the NXT North American title, and Ricochet pinned Sami Zayn, while Bayley defeated Raquel Rodriguez. WWE looks to be phasing out the Ezekiel character played by Jeffrey Daniel Shulo, according to a PWI Insider report yesterday, which indicated that Ezekiel had been removed from the internal roster and replaced with Shulo's twin persona, Elias. Elias was the original character used by Shulo in WWE until the introduction of Elias's supposed twin brother Ezekiel on the post-WrestleMania Monday Night Raw last April. Shulo eventually began using both personas on television until Ezekiel was injured by Kevin Owens as part of an angle on the August 8th Raw. The character has not been seen since, and looks like it will not be seen again for the foreseeable future. With some WWE corporate news, here is the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
WWE announced two new members of its board of directors yesterday, Michelle McKenna and Joellen Lyons Dillon. McKenna has 20 years of experience in senior management at Disney, Universal Studios, and the NFL, while Dillon has worked for 30 years in the legal field, as well as global business and mergers and acquisitions. Said WWE chairwoman and co-CEO Stephanie McMahon, Michelle and Joellen bring to WWE's board of directors incredible experience across key areas that we believe will benefit our organization. A WWE SEC filing yesterday also revealed that Erica Nardini, CEO of Barstool Sports and another member of the board of directors, had resigned from her position on the board as of Thursday. Nardini had been a board member since October 2020. WWE also lost a member of its board of directors last July, Connor Schell, who resigned amid board investigations into improprieties by former chairman and CEO Vince McMahon. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In Lucha Libre news, CMLL, the world's oldest existing professional wrestling company, held its 89th anniversary show last night in Arena, Mexico. In the main event, Atlantis Jr. defeated Stuka Jr. in a mask versus mask match. Stuka Jr. was unmasked, and his real name, Omar Alvarez, was revealed. The two luchadors had advanced to the mask versus mask main event by emerging victorious earlier in the evening as a tag team in a 4-team elimination tournament, defeating the teams of Soberano Jr. and Dragon Rojo, and Averno and Ultimo Guerrero in the earlier rounds. In other matches, Angel de Oro won a 3-way match against Mystico and Volador Jr. to win the 2022 Independence Cup. Reina Isis lost a mask versus mask match to Jarochita. The team of Euphorio, Hechicero, and Mephisto defeated Negro Casas, Titan, and Star Jr. when Euphoria pinned Titan. And Dulce Gardenia, Rey Cometa, and Espirito Negro defeated Guerrero Maya Jr., Stigma, and Arcalis to retain the National Trios Championship. The annual anniversary show is CMLL's biggest event of the year and has been held every year since 1934. WWE released a new episode of its Best of the WWE series on Peacock and the WWE Network yesterday in commemoration of Hispanic Heritage Month. Entitled Best of WWE, Celebrating Hispanic Heritage, the 3-hour episode features 10 matches featuring Hispanic stars of the past and present. Included among them is a rare 1954 match from the Dallas Sportatorium released by WWE for the first time, featuring Rito Romero against Roy Shire. Other features from the episode include Pedro Morales winning the WWF World title from Ivan Koloff in 1971, Mil Mascaras battling superstar Billy Graham at Madison Square Garden in 1977, a 1995 ECW match pitting Rey Mysterio and Conan against Psychosis and La Parka, Eddie Guerrero winning the WWE World title from Brock Lesnar at No Way Out in 2004, and Carlos Colon's 2014 induction into the WWE Hall of Fame. With wrestling toy news, here is the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Action figure company Powertown Wrestling announced yesterday that its new line of pro wrestling legend figures are officially available for pre-order on its website. The Series 1 line, first revealed last February, includes figures of Kerry Von Erich, Lou Thez, Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody, Magnum TA, and Vern Gagne. Powertown has a fulfillment deal with High Spots to distribute the 7-inch figures via online order, and expects orders to start shipping in early 2023. The company was founded earlier this year by Steve Rosenthal, a former vice president at Remco, the producer of AWA action figures in the 1980s, and Greg Gagne. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In news from outside the ring, Dave Bautista's new film and TV production company, Dogbone Entertainment, has signed a first-look movie production deal with FilmNation Entertainment's Infrared division, according to an exclusive report yesterday from Deadline. The partnership will be focused on developing feature films, predominantly in the science fiction, thriller, and comedy genres, many of which would feature Bautista as a producer and/or star. Dogbone Entertainment was founded earlier this year by Bautista, whose acting career since leaving full-time wrestling behind in 2014 has included appearances in such movies as Spectre, Blade Runner 2049, and Dune, as well as in the role of Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise and other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that the Wrestling News is on Twitter. Follow at Wrestling News AV for Arcadian Vanguard's daily wrestling newscast, breaking news, and more. Once again, follow at Wrestling News AV for the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is also on Facebook. Visit facebook.com/WrestlingNewsAV to follow the Wrestling News. For those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, make the Wrestling News a part of your daily routine. Just say, Alexa, play the Wrestling News Podcast. Make sure you add podcast at the end, as the echo can be very particular. And finally, for those who consume their podcasts on YouTube, the Wrestling News is available on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube channel. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.